Willie D Live.
How you holding up, man?
And look, I'm just thinking about freedom, bro. That was
Yeah.
out on my end.
Right,
So
right.
you heard me. I know it's been a minute, but shit, look like shit happening now. Everything rolling how I needed to roll.
Yeah.
So hopefully you dig this the year.
Right.
So that what it feeling like, you heard me?
And what's the main that I read some of the paperwork, some of the new evidence that's been out there. Can you share what are some of the legal points that your team are making to get you out of there?
Well, you know the 10-2 is one of the main things spearheading right now. That's the old Jim Crow racist law that started way back in the G.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still in effect only in Louisiana. At first it was just Louisiana and Oregon, but now it's Louisiana, Oregon made it retroactive, meaning that everybody who fall under that case, the reason I'm not free when the Supreme Court say, look, 10-2 is unconstitutional, let them out, give them a new trial. The reason me and 900 more dudes not free is because our court dates was earlier than the dude and some dudes. So just because we missed it by a month, a year, or 2 years that we was at trial earlier, we still sit. So we really held captive right now. We really like sitting at a law that don't even exist. So it's like 900, me and 900 brothers, but just going through it, trying to make the 10-2 retroactive. So that's one thing. Then the only two witnesses they had recanted in my case, and they don't want to accept the recantation because see, any judge that mess with my case or give me play, they get out. They ain't getting voted for no more. It's just like that down here in Louisiana. It's like no other, bro. This basic goons for real.
So I wanted to go over some of the points that your lawyer made. Judge Martha, how do you say her name? Sassoni?
Sassoni.
That was your original judge, and she was ousted by Judge Ellen Kovac in 2008. And this is the first time in 84 years that the 24th Judicial District Judge, Division K, had not been reelected. This was primarily due to the fact that she alerted the FBI on Jefferson Parish courthouse corruption and also spoke on the corruption that was happening in her court on record at Miller's new trial hearing. Judge Sassoni is willing to talk about the corruption and expose the many wrongdoings that has been stipulated. Alongside the blatant corruption, Judge Kovac, is it Kovac? Kovac.
Yeah.
Judge Kovac used Miller's case. Check this out, family. Judge Kovac used Miller's case in a negative manner to try and unseat Judge Sassoni. During Kovac's campaign, she sent out mailers that had the slogan, "Getting away with more than murder," with Corey Miller's picture on them. Although Kovac won, an ethics committee ruled that her campaign crossed ethical lines for using C. Murder case as propaganda to be elected. Her actions and mishandling of her campaign advertisements left Miller unable to get a fair trial in Jefferson Parish. The jury verdict. Judge, is it Legerberg? Yeah, was the presiding judge on Miller's retrial. Promised the jury that they would hear the 911 call, the 911 calls, where the caller, Darnell Jordan, does not describe Corey Miller as the shooter. He later reversed that decision and claimed Code of Criminal Procedure Article 793 prohibited him from sending the recording to jurors. The article only states that there are not to refer to notes or access written evidence if the jurors are unable to reach a verdict. The jurors actually reached a 9-3 verdict and was very confident in their decision, but Judge Ligerberg demanded that they go back and deliberate further. This is where it gets really, really crazy. So not only did he use an article to withhold pertinent audio from the jurors, he placed a heavy burden upon the jurors that were voting not guilty. This caused duress on one juror to become extremely ill from the pressure to change her verdict to guilty. After Ms. Bazile refused to change her verdict to guilty, Mary Jacobs, another juror that had voted not guilty, decided to change her verdict to guilty to protect Ms. Jacobs from any further harassment from the fellow jurors. Mr. Jacobs went on record to say that should have been Mrs. Jacobs. Yeah, Mrs. Jacobs went on record to say that she and Bazile were shaking so badly, she ran into the bathroom, she was throwing up her guts, she couldn't function anymore. That's when she said she decided the judge don't want to hear the truth. The judge don't want to listen to me, doesn't want to listen to us. I told them, you want him to be guilty, he's guilty. Now let's get the hell out of here. That is no damn reason to put a human being in jail for life, man, just because you tired of being in the damn jury room, because you're tired of deliberating. That ain't no reason. That's cold-blooded, man. It's gotta be somebody out there, I mean, really, this should be all hands on deck, really. Like anybody who claimed to be a lawyer, who claimed to be righteous, all of these people, all of these lawmakers, all of these people that's got the power, all of them should just converge on Louisiana and say, let that man go. What the hell y'all holding that man for? This seems like one of those situations where we're going to hold him just because we can, or we don't want to be proven wrong, so we're going to keep him in here. It doesn't matter that he's wasting away. It don't matter that we're keeping him away from his family, keeping him away from his freedom. We're going to keep him in here just because we can. That's cold-blooded, man. Sealed secret motions. You got sealed secret motions. You got, when Miller's lawyer, Rachel Connor, filed his first, Raquel filed his first post. Is it Rachel, right? It's Rachel. Yeah, Rachel Connor filed his first post-conviction relief. The state immediately went behind her and filed 31 sealed secret motions. This information was never provided to Miller or his attorney. Once discovering that these motions were filed, Miller's attorney then requested that this evidence be provided to him. The response he received was that they are only going to provide half of the documents, and the majority of the information that is given to Miller will be redacted. A few examples of what these files consisted of are as follows: audio tape recordings, jury verdict polling slips, motions to insurances of subpoenas, material witness warrants, internal affairs investigation, internal affairs case report, disciplinary action reports, exculpatory evidence, order to seal disciplinary records of Freeze and Kroger, petition for order of habeas corpus, and supplemental inventory of documents, just to name a few. If Miller and his attorneys were provided this information at the time of the post-conviction relief, he would have had more than enough evidence of the blatant corruption to free him. So, man, what all of this is going on, all of this corruption, who's actually helping you like navigate through this and try to get you out of here? Who's helping you now? Because I know you went through a series of lawyers, right?
Yeah, but when it kicked off, I was on my own. I had to fight David and Goliath. You heard me, bro?
Yeah.
So I had to go through the mud and through all the steps and fighting all my own battles, all my own business. You heard me? And so after years and years of that, and people start seeing, in hand and seeing I'm still kicking, still handling business, ain't never quiet down. I start getting my stuff in the right people's hand. That's when I got Kim Kardashian, bro. So she been on the case, and she got her legal team on the case. They doing some amazing things for me, you heard me? But you got to realize that they way out there down here. So, you know,
almost like out of sight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process. You heard me? So, you know, even though everybody diligently moving, but you know, it's like I just got to sit, wait, and chill. But at the same time, you know, I don't like chilling. I like being on the front lines and battle. You heard me?
Right.
But I'm just glad that I do got some prominent people that got my back and they're stepping forward and handling business, because it's rough on your own handling that, man. Trying to fight, like you see, they corruption deep in Louisiana and in the coast system. You heard me?
Yeah.
So you know they roots going all the way in the earth. So they know how to clean up. They know how they have all of their good old boys that they deal with, the judges, the DAs, you know, all the detectives, everybody that deny my appeals and all of that stuff. So I can't get in the door. They know if I get a hearing, I'm gone. They know if they grant one appeal, I'm gone. So I ain't never had an appeal grant. I ain't never got evidentiary hearing. They never wanted to even give me a hearing to hear the two witnesses that recanted. They just say, oh, we don't believe they trustworthy. But they were trustworthy for you to convict me, but they ain't trustworthy now when they come forward and do a legal affidavit. No, anytime that happens, they give you a hearing. So you could come and they could judge, could fill you out. That's required that they give you a hearing for any recantation. But they still ain't never did it for me at all. So that's what it is. They've been blackballed. They know that any judge that grant anything for me down there in JP, they know it's over with, like they did Sassoon, you heard me? So they spooked out, bro. So I'm suffering on this end because I can't get no justice, no kind of way. They scared to give me justice. Even the ones that won't do it, they can't do it. So they're going to take the big people to come down here and handle business, you heard me?